अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। So we just started seeing Bhajagovindam in the last class. So Bhajagovindam is also called as a Prakarana Grantaha. So Prakaranam, when I say, it means it's a treatise, a small text which gives a message. And this particular text is a bit little what do you call, direct injection of knowledge. This text does not give any room to waste time or explain the philosophy behind it. It just directly goes straight, assuming that you know what you're doing, or if you do not know what you're doing, you better know what you should do. So in the previous class we saw how this old man who is at this very prime age is starting to learn all these things, Vyakaranam, Samskritaha, etc., by hearting the rules of grammar, learning sandhis, all those things, And this Acharya comes and tells, like, it's good to learn all these things, there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're not started studying Vedanta, you better study now, because there's not enough time left. So we started with that. So we'll look at the first one again. There are a couple of things I want to add in that. We will go through this. Bhaja Govindam, Govindam bhaja mudamate, samprapte sannihite kale, nahi rakshati dukrin karane, nahi rakshati dukrin karane. So the word nahi is said because never. So there is never possible unless you understand what Govinda is. So whatever a person may do in life, one can be a master in chanting, one can be a master in rituals, one can be doing lots of dhanam. You can do anything what you feel, building temples, building wells, be a social worker, known for renounce everything, but it is not going to give you any benefit ultimately. So without knowing the Bhagavan, without knowing who Govinda is, it is absolutely not just, you can do that things. It doesn't say that you must not do, but if you only do that activity, and if you do not pursue a spiritual path, then it is not going to give any benefit. That's why Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. So the 3 times emphasis is actually for us to know that this is very important. So in the last class, I think we have discussed that verse. There's one other thing I want to introduce here. There's a concept called, see, Bhaja Govindam is a verse that highlights us how ignorant we are and we are bound by emotions. So emotionally we are bound, physically we are bound, and this bondage is the one which is preventing us from achieving what we really want to do. So here we have 3 concepts called Sanataha, Anataha, and Nataha. So Sanataha, Anata, and Natha. So traditionally, if you look at the literal meaning of the word Sanata, means that which has been continuing for many, many generations. Sanatanam. And Anata means a person who is an orphan. Anath, we say, a person who doesn't have anybody is called Anath. And Nataha means the Lord, the Bhagavan who is supposed to be Nathan. So Swami Nathan, when they say. So Nathan denotes what is the Bhagavan, is the Nathan of the Swami. The same way, but in Vedanta, we take a different view. I mean, the Bhajagovindam gives a different view. And according to this, Sanata is a person who has to depend on someone to keep him busy. So they always have somebody always to keep them busy. So they have friends, they have networks, they are always among somebody or the other. They are never alone. So if you leave them alone, they will become very crazy. You get what I'm saying? If you leave them alone, right, they cannot think of isolation. So they will have to belong to some group or the other. So either they will go to some group or multiple groups. So someone may join Vishnu Sahasrama group, someone may join Lalita Sahasrama group, or they may join all the 4 groups. So in Tamil, we call them as Tunai Ullavargal. Tunai Ullavargal is called Sanataha. In those people who have got support is called Sanataha in Vedanta. Or the people who are being told to worship, who have been told to be with satsang or some group always all together. So they are called Sanataha. And Anataha here in this context, in Bhajagovindam, means a person whose mind is very active, but the body is not active anymore. So the mind is very active, but the body is not active anymore. So there is a time when everybody will become Anatha. There will come a time. All of us also will come a time. And this person does not have any company of anyone, nor anyone wants to give him company. See, Anatha means in real term means he does not have anyone to give company, nor people want to be with him or her. And for such a person, nothing really is occupying the mind. So they are the people who are always worried about things like daughter getting married, granddaughter getting married, property issues are there, what will happen to society, what's happening in the world, all these things are there. They are spiritually not active. They have lived their life entirely by depending on people of called Sanata. From Sanataha, because they become old now, people don't want to be associated with anything now. So they leave. See, he is an old man now, old woman. So we do not want to be connected. So they look for other types of company, or people also get separated because it doesn't have the same vibes anymore. They don't enjoy it also. So people move away. So such a person actually becomes a lonely person. Spiritually also is lonely because there is nobody who can guide him at that age. What is right or what is wrong. Also at that age, it is very difficult for someone to just accept change. Sometimes we see, when we are also become very old, we are very adamant. No. It is what I say is correct. I have seen life myself. I spent 45 years like this, and you're coming and telling me yesterday's boy, telling me how to do this. I have seen enough life about this. What he may say is right, But because of this ego, because of this ahankara, because of the way you lived the life, it still it keeps coming to you and you're not willing to accept the change. So spiritually, you're not able to progress. So such a person is called anatha. That means there is nobody there for him spiritually also, physically also, socially also. So he lives a very, very precarious life, longing for company, but the company is not there anymore. Spiritually also is not inclined to hold on to anything. So imagine what will happen. So you lie on the bed, you cannot walk, struggle to get up in the morning, and you don't know how to pass your time. You're awaiting death, awaiting one day you will pass, but death also doesn't come to you that easily, because you've got so much of the karma left. Life, still you want to enjoy life, you still want to live a little bit longer. Maybe in another 1 year time I'll recover and my health will be better. So this person has got, longer expectation. So it is like, there's a story I want to give example. One sannyasi or one, spiritual person, he meditates a lot. He does ghor tapas, hard meditation. And one day the Yama comes in front of him. And then the Yama says, see, I'm very pleased with you. So ask me a boon. So he says, I know that I'm going to die. I know that you're the god of death. You're asking, me to ask you a boon. So I'll ask you only, I want you to let me know that when I'm going to die. You have to give me some indication. You just cannot come one day and then take my life and go away. See, we all know tomorrow also we do not whether be alive or not, correct? This is reality. We all live the expectation that we'll be there tomorrow. But this person says that if I am notified prior, that I would like to, then, at least I know I can prepare. So Yama says, okay, I grant you this wish. I'll send you notification. I'll send you indication that you will be, you will die one day or the day will come. So when he says, I will notify you, it means what he is expecting. So this person now, he has got assurance from Yama that he is not going to die immediately. And if at all he is going to die, he has got 3 chances to recover. So first chance he will recover. So he goes, enjoys, forgets about meditation. He enjoys the life to the core. He becomes from 30, 40, 45-year-old, he becomes 60-year-old. Now he undergoes operation, cataract operation. Then he wears glasses. After some time, all his hair falls off, becomes a completely bald person. Then he's 80 years or so, his teeth starts to fall and he is using artificial pulse set. You get the artificial teeth, to eat something which you want. Otherwise, he cannot speak also. So he enjoys life 85 years or so. One day, Yama comes. He says, why are you here? No, I'm here because your time is up, right? No, but you said you're going to give me intimation prior to when I'm leaving. He says, yeah, I kept my promise. I give you intimation before itself. But I did not give any notification. I did not get an email or I did not get a letter from you. I check daily a post box and go daily to my ashram's office and see nothing there. I do not get anything. So Yama says, you must be a very, very foolish person. He said, I am Yama, the Lord of Death. Do you think I have time to write to you a letter or indicate to you that first, this is your intimation? I already gave you intimation when first time you couldn't see, your eyes were very old. and you went for a cataract operation and you used glasses to see. So that's the first intimation I gave you, that you are getting old, you cannot see now, the eyes are getting very weak. The second notification I also told you that all your hair all went off and you are already starting to walk a little bit slowly, you're stumbling, you could, but you didn't see it. The third intimation I gave you also was your tooth fell off completely. You have no teeth left now. But then he says, oh, so that is what intimation means. Yes, these are all the lives intimation for you, friend, that we are all aging. You will go through all these phases. So now I come to take you. Now he says, I need just one more day. I got unfinished business. He said, you cannot even stay even for 1 nanosecond here. You have to go right now. So he takes and goes. So what it means here, the story is that the Bhagavan doesn't give you notification, the Bhagavan doesn't come and tell you, or time doesn't come and tell you that you are old or you are, in your prime. So you must use every opportunity you have got right now, not to waste any time anymore. So Bhaja Govindam insists that you do not have time. Samprapte sannihite kale. So whatever praptam is there, that kalaha is sannihite, very, very near to you. You do not even anticipate how close it is. You are just very, very close. Because people from different ages of group, people pass away. 35 years they go, 80 years they pass away, 60 years they go. So all different ages they go. Everybody has expectation, they will continue. So what it means that do not waste time. Do not wait for the opportunity that I will become 60, I'll start studying Vedanta, or I will, 3 years I'll give time to enjoy. I want to give 3 years of my time and see how this works out. If it doesn't work out, I may go to study Vedanta. If I don't like Vedanta, I will go to something else. So this is not the way you approach life. He says, you be very clear what you want to do. And once you do that, this is the only way of achieving moksha. Nahi nahi rakshati dukhan karane. So anataha is a person who lives like this. So they are called, in Tamil, Thunai Atravargal. Mean the people who don't have support. So Thunai Ullavargal, Thunai Atravargal. That means the people who do not have support is these people. It's called Anataha. Spiritually support is not there, socially support is not there, family support is not there, because everybody is waiting for the person to go. When this property will be mine, when this share will be mine, when this car will be mine. And this person is listening to all the conversations sitting in the bed, he cannot do a single thing. Tears come from his eyes. I've done so much for these people, and now look at what they're talking about. Because he knows the truth. He cannot take any of these things from when they're going. So that's why in Ishavasya Upanishad there's a mantra. So it says, the last mantra, it says, Om Kritosmara Kritosmara. Means what? Whatever I remembered, whatever I learned in my so far, let me not forget, let me not forget. So here the person is talking about something which has learned, and he wants it to be remembered when he leaves the physical body. So what Shastram says in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, Antakale Chamameva Smaren Mukta Kalevaram. So when the time comes, and then whatever remembrance you had about only will come to you. If you are remembering all about some property vritti will also come at the end. If you are always studying Vedanta, Shastra, Bhaja Govindam, Vishnu Sahasranama, Rudram, etc., chanting every day, that will come to you at the time. And that's what will give you freedom. So then we have third called Nataha. So a person who is not dependent on anything or anyone. So he's more like a jnani or a person who is free. He is a lord by himself because He does not need anyone to give him company. Neither he wants to belong to some group. He feels very bad if he doesn't belong to some group. He doesn't have these kind of feelings. He is happy by himself or happy among people also. So the people does not make him happy, nor just by himself doesn't make him more happy. Because happiness for him is already established. So such a person is also called Jnani in the Bhagavad Gita. So in Tamil we call Tunai Vendadavargal. So the people who do not need support is called Tunai Vendadavargal. So Tunai Ullavargal, Tunai Atravargal, Tunai Vendadavargal. So three. So Nataha, Sanataha, Anataha, Nata. So this concept is different in real life. In real life, Sanata means traditionally a person is there. And Anata means a person who is an orphan. In fact, there is really no orphan at all, because everybody is Bhagavan's gift. So there's, if you don't have parents, then Bhagavan is the parent. So is it clear to you, this one? So this is an additional one which I didn't cover last time, so I'll cover this one. Okay, next one will go. Mudajahitana agama trishnam kurusad buddhim manasi bitrishnam yallabase nija karmo patam vitam tena vinodaya chittam. So the first word is mudaha. See, he keeps saying muda, muda. See, why does it? Because no other text talks like this. See, when they say somebody is muda, he says, oh, how do you call me a deluded person? I am not a muda. I am a sarvagyani. I am a knowledgeable person. See, I am a scientist. I got so much of thesis written. I am a doctorate in. People say, like, I know all these things. How can you call me muda? Here he says, muda in terms of understanding who you are. So he is very happy to say muda. So mudaha means deluded person or ignorant person. Then dana agama trishnaha. So dana agama trishnaha. So dhanam means what? Wealth. And agama means what? Acquiring or incoming. Agamam. That which is coming. So wealth which is coming, incoming. And trishna means moham or greed. So wealth keeps coming in terms of all sorts of wealth, not just, cash. Wealth comes from the property, it comes of children, it comes of all Shrihi. So when I say dhanam, it means all types of wealth. So a person successful will always be receiving a lot of wealth, property, fame, etc. So dhana agama trishnaha. So trishna means it's like a mirage. So the more you go close to it, you feel it is a little farther away. When you are driving in a road sometimes, extremely hot weather, and when you drive, sometimes you feel there's a blanket of water in the front at a very far distance. So you think there is water, and then you drive very fast towards it. But when you reach the particular point, you feel there is no water because it is only a mirage, a trishna. Likewise, the animals also, the deer, etc., they they do not have this vision. So they only see in the distance, they can see some water. So miles and miles, kilometers they will walk with the hope that they will get water one day. But they keep walking, 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 and then finally there's no water, and out of exhaustion, it just falls and dies. So same thing talks about here, that you keep chasing, you keep chasing, you keep chasing. One day you will keep so chasing that you will not have enough time even to enjoy the wealth also what you're chasing for. Some people work till 75, 80, 85 also, very actively involved. I've got so many billions of dollars worth there. What will you do? When you're not able to enjoy when you're living there, when the life itself is not, you're not able to enjoy, what is the point of saving for something in the future when you cannot enjoy? You should go for a cruise now if you want to enjoy. If you really want to enjoy, enjoy whatever you can, and then you finish with it. So Dana Agama Trishna. Then Jahihi, the word. See, Muda Jahihi Dana Agama Trishna. So the word Jahihi means do not fall for it or leave those things. Do not fall for the greed of chasing after property. Do not fall for the greed of the dhana. So never be carried away by accumulating wealth, or you want more money, more wealth, more security, more artha, more kama, more dharma. So dhanam includes all these things. So do not fall for that, no, because it's Trishna. It's like a mirage. It's only an appearance, and it will only make you work very hard. You will feel very tired after some time. See, some people, when you talk to them, they say, how are you? Life is very, very stressful. They come and ask you sometimes, how come you're able to go at 2 o'clock every day in the office? So I go at 8 o'clock, come back at 2 o'clock. For me, work is something which I need to earn money to live my lifestyle. That's all it is. It is not something which I am pursuing to make myself more richer. So, but no, it's not possible. See, I had to work very hard. So you're all very gifted people. You can come back at this time. You can also do that if you want to. You have to prioritize what you want to do. If you prioritize and if you think that is what is important for you, then this becomes a priority chase that becomes secondary to you. Whereas if work becomes the first priority to you, then this becomes secondary to you. So at some point of time, you have to alternate. See, there's a point when you have to decide what is right for you and when you should shift gear, into what gear you should go, correct? You cannot be going only in first gear for a long time. You have to shift second gear also. Same thing says here that Jahihi means do not fall for this false impression or this false illusion, which is like, it will take you to such an extreme path that you will not be able to come back after this. So it's called Mudaha. Hey Mudaha, Jahihi Dhan Agama Trishna. Then, Kuru Sad Buddhim Manasi Vitrishna. So the first word you should take is Manasi. So Manasi means in your mind and heart. In your mind and heart with Trishna. So with means remove this greed, or Trishna means remove this mirage or remove this image of yourself having to work for a long time and earning a lot of money, becoming famous and successful. It says remove this image. So in your mind and heart, you remove with Trishna, means the Trishna which is seen before, Dhana Agama Trishna, you remove it from your mind and heart. Now you have to mentally decide that this is enough for me. Then Kuru means please develop. Please develop. See, they're all instructions given by Acharya. They are all telling you that you do this. He's not saying that you can do this if you want to. Like Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says what? See, if you want to be a better person, you can do this. If you don't want to be a better person, you can also do this also. He's not like this. He says, Kuru, means what? Do. So it's a direct instruction thing. Please do. Kuru. What do you want? Sadbuddhihi. So you have to do activity with good intellectual mind. Sadbuddhihi. So buddhi means intellect and sadbuddhihi means what? Good intellect. Sadbuddhihi. Then next line, you see, Yallabase nija karma upatham. So the word Yallabase should be read as Yat labase. So Yallabase should be written as Yat labase. That means Yat means that thing. That thing. Labase or labatvat means obtaining, or labate means which you get. So that thing which you get. Nija karma upatham. So due to the karma, due to the doing of the karma, and nijaha means what? That which is the truth. Nijam means here punyam. So you do good karmas. How do you do? Sadbuddhihi. Kuru sadbuddhihi means what? With a good intellectual mind, you do good karmas. Jahihi dana agama trishna. So you leave out those karmas, those activities which is of no use. Hope you got the point? So leave out those activities which is not going to take you to that path. Instead, follow those activities or pursue those activities with sadbuddhi and kuru sadbuddhi. Please do those activities which are required for you to develop nija karma upatham for the purpose of earning punyam. See, Bhaja Govindam is actually a bhakti verse. He says, there's also jnanam there. But he is first trying to inculcate a spirit of bhakti. Instead of doing all these things, you at least develop this attitude. Do prayer, do daily activities, develop the right attitude. Leave out those activities which are going to be not taking you to the direction where you want to go. So always when you do an activity, you question, is this activities which I am doing, is it contributing to my end goal? See, example will give you. See, if you want to be, say you are going to work, and right now you are a project manager. Say $120,000 you are earning, let us say. And you also know this another person working as a program manager in your department is earning $170,000 salary. So you have a target in mind, right? See, I'm a project manager now, and the senior PM, one in between goal I had to go. So another 5 years, I think I'll give time to go there. And then once I get there, another 3 years should take me to program manager. So I'll be $180,000 salary there. And you already start planning. If I was 180K, how will I lead my life be? Correct. So you have a plan there. You have an end goal. And whatever activity you do now, you are actually plotting or planning for doing the end goal. Is it correct? Without having an end goal, how will you achieve anything? I would just like to go to office every day and come back. So if you just go to office every day and come back like a mechanical person, nobody will keep you. So you need to be motivated. You need to be driven, correct, for earning money. So the same philosophy, same principle. Why don't you apply in this fellow is asking? You are able to apply those philosophy, those principles when you're earning money in dhanam, agama, trishna. But when you are coming to understand this philosophy for knowing your own true nature or developing the sad buddhi, you are not able to do that. So he says, you think. So kuru sad buddhi. And manasihi with trishna. So in your mind, you remove this particular moham that someday I'll have to enough. This is enough money there is enough for me to live comfortably. Then maybe one of you can work, and maybe I can work shorter hours, or I can work part-time. I can pursue these studies, all these kind of questions. So for that, interest has to come. Then only. If you occupy full-time, then you do not have time to think. Then, so yat labase tena chittam vinodayaha. See, vittam tena vinodayaha. Read as tena chittam vinodayaha. So tena means with that in mind. Chittam, your mind should be with that. With what? Your mind should be with achieving the end goal of what exactly you started off. See, here we are not talking about money making. Here we are talking about ultimate happiness. So, tena chittam vinodayaha. So, that which will make you happy or make your mind happy, you do that. So, your mind should be happy. Then only every activity you should do will be happy. Your mind itself is very corrupt and very disturbed mind. How will actions will be good? Action will not be good. So in your mind, you should have a very clean thought. Then only whatever actions you do, kaikam, vachikam, manasam. Either you do by action, by speech, or by mental, your mind should be clear. If it is a convoluted mind, action also will be convoluted. So he says, tena chittam vinodayaha kuru sad buddhi, develop an intellectual mind. Jahihi dana agama trishna. So the message is 3. See, jahihi dana agama trishna. First one, leave out, don't keep chasing the material aspect of the property. Don't leave those things. Just don't fall for it. Just be aware about the pitfalls of that. So jahihi dana agama trishna is the first message. Second one is what? Kuru sad buddhi. Develop an intellectual mind. Develop a good mind. Then, with that particular mind, do the activities. Nija karma upatam. So, with that right attitude, you do the activities so that you'll get punyam, or you'll accumulate less papa. So, by doing this, yat labase, what do you get? You get vinodaya chittam. You get a very, very tranquil mind. Is it correct or not? So the message in this is very clear. Right? He's giving you 2 or 3 things to do. So in every verse, he'll give you some messages. So the first verse in Bhaja Govindam we saw makes the person develop Purushartha Nishchayaha. First one. So Bhaja Govindam forces the person to think about Purushartha Nishchaya. being definite about one's goal in life. The second verse talks about the method, how to do this. So if you want to develop Purushartha Nishchaya, then what do? You'll have to prioritize. You'll have to stop chasing all the material aspects of it, because it is like a Trishna. It is like a mirage. It will just keep sucking you away, so that you just keep chasing. You will get tired one day and then you will just fall off. You will not even have time to recover. Is it clear to you, that verse? So Sat Buddhim Kuru, may you have the right understanding. And Durbuddhi means wrong understanding. Also the other one, Yallabase Nija Karma Upatham, means do your duties as prescribed in Dharma. Do your duties as prescribed in the Dharma. Nija Karma Upatham means whatever duties are given in the Shastram for your particular Varnashrama, you do that. And Yallabase also means whatever is ordained, you are going to get it. So do not worry about those things which you cannot control. So Yallabase Nija Karma Upatham means whatever is ordained for you in your karma, you are going to get it. So do not worry about those things which you cannot control. Control what you can manage. So you can definitely manage the current activities by having the right mind. See, whatever is the past happened, you leave it. You cannot go back and undo everything. But the day you realize that, yes, I need to change myself, then from that day onwards, you develop Kuru Sat Buddhi. So you take stock, you do the right thing, do the right according to Dharma, understand that whatever is already ordained for you will happen. So Prarabdha Karma is going to be there, it is not going to just go away. So understand this. And with that, Tena Vinodaya Chittam. So having done all these things, you will find happiness in your mind. You will not find overnight. You cannot say that from tomorrow onwards I will stop going to work. You will find happiness. No. You need to find out whether by not going to work you will be happy or not, only by experimenting, by knowing what it is. So you must have something else to do. If you always have, a pressure of mortgage, say I'm talking Australia, you live in a 3-bedroom house now. Everybody is living in a 6-bedroom house now. They are having 3 cars. They have got 1 Mercedes, 2 BMWs. I have got an old, Kia or some car. I'm not criticizing Kia. Kia is a good car. But I can tell you is they compare. That person is, I don't know, he was just like us. He came with us. Suddenly he has become like this. So he must be doing very well. Why can't we do this? Then you go and find out what the person is doing, what are his habits. You try to be friendly with the person. You try to go and join his network to find out what he's doing. All these are extra activities. Because now you are driven by the desire to make you successful. So this is not called Kuru Sat Buddhi. It is called Kuru Dhur Buddhi. Because Dhur Buddhi is what? Is by comparing yourself to somebody else. Let them be what they are. The question is, are you happy with what you got? Is important. Small family, happy family, you got everything. Bhagavan has given you everything nicely. So why do you want to go and disturb everything and then go and find something else? Then you go and buy a new house. So if you have a $1 million mortgage, now you become a $2 million mortgage. Then what do? You go there. I think we made a mistake in moving in here. Because the bank statement comes, the credit card statement comes, and then you wonder, I don't know how we are going to pay this. Then both of them argue and discuss. I will take a third job. I'll work as Uber driver, the part-time. So all these things starts because the pressure of putting everything comes. See, I'm saying this because I've seen people who have done this. And they have actually left studies because of this. They completely left studies. They completely left all they were pursuing for so many years. Just one day they just disappeared completely. When I asked them, I didn't ask them. They just told, Guruji, I am not able to spend time anymore because he told me, like, they got a big house now. A lot of flaming work is required. A lot of maintenance work is required. We don't have anybody, so we are working more. So spending 1 hour in a week becomes difficult for them. Hope you see, this is exactly how. That's why it says here, Jahihi Dana Agama Trishna. So never get into the habit of, just keep going. If it comes to you naturally, you take it. See, if it comes to you in your way, it doesn't affect your lifestyle, it doesn't affect your commitment to study, by all means go. You should not say that somebody, you're definitely going to get a better, bigger house. And you'll be able to do better, bigger things, like having a big satsang at your home, inviting other people to discuss about it. Do that. But if you're just going to upgrade or to get more property just to show off to somebody else, it is not going to be of benefit to you. That's why it says, Kuru Sat Buddhi. Give me intellect, give me good buddhi, so that I'm able to pursue what I want to do. And Nija Karma Upatam. So 3 messages. Right? So Jahihi Dana Agama Trishna, Kuru Sat Buddhim, Nija Karma Upatam. Thereby you give me Chittam Vinodaya, Tena Vinodaya Chittam, because by which you also give me an intellect or a mind which is peaceful. So 3 things he's asking for. See, no text you will find like this. They will not tell you like this. They'll say, do this, please do this. Is it clear to you? Number 2 verse. If you got any questions, you can raise your hand. Or if you not got any meanings or any particular word you want, you can ask me. Radhaji, you're okay so far? You're able to follow?
Yes, Ji.
Okay.
All good.
Bhavani ji, you're okay so far? Able to follow the verse?
Yes, very nicely. Thank you.
So we'll go to number 3 now. Naristana bharana bidesham drishtva magha moha vesham etat pamsavasadi vikharam manasi vichintaya varam varam. So this verse talks about, see, in Tamil we have something called Mannasai, Pennasai and Ponnasai. So in Tamil we have called something called Man Asai, means property, desire for property. So Man, when you say, it means desire for land. So everybody has good desire for land. Right? Then Pon Asai means desire for gold. So pon means dhanaha. So everybody wants a desire for dhanam. So land, property or money, then pen asai. So pen asai means women. So they have the company of pleasure of women, very important. So these are three things talks about which brings about a decline in everybody else. See, Tamil has got a lot of literature, like, very. See, in Tamil we have Avadum Pennale, Aivadum Pennale. That means you get created by women, you also can be destroyed by women, because the women has got the Shakti to create you and destroy you. So you have to be, very careful, and you have to respect the way you should be. So what it tells here is that do not be carried away. Do not be, in our sampradaya, vivaham is important. See, marriage we do for propagation of dharma. There are twofold benefits or twofold pursuits we are following. Number one, in fact, when you do the mantra chanting, it is never said, never uttered any mantra that you are marrying for conjugal benefit. This is not a single mantra which says this. All the mantra says is what? She is your wife, he is your husband, you two are now together, you two are now going to be promoting dharma, you lead a meritorious life, dharmic life, and let dharma be guiding you in every step of your life. So there are 7 steps, Saptapadi we have. So every step denotes particular vow. And in any of them, there's only one thing, says that may you bear children for propagating my dharma. So there's never a talk about, having all these other benefits. It comes to the package. But that should not be the main driver for getting married. And that should not be the main thing. See, in Indian Shastram, Vivaha Samskara is a big topic. Sometime, if I get time, I'll cover that. There are 27 verses are there. And I've done a class sometime back where somebody wanted to, one of my friends, her daughter got married in Indonesia. So I went to Bali and then he asked me to do a write-up about what exactly the significance of a marriage. So right from when the person, gets invitation from the, look for the Jadagam and invitation till after the rituals are done, everything is covered in samskara. So sometime when we have time, we'll do that. So what it means, samskara, that here it talks about Nari Stanabara Nabi Deshan. So do not get lewd or do not get, attracted or but become a slave to that. So the women's body is there, but do not get carried away by that. Do not, because it's only a modification of everything, just like you are. So whether men or women, it doesn't matter. Here it says women, but you must take it as, do not get carried away by your physical appearance. Do not get carried away by other person's physical appearance also. Because they are all subject to mamsa vikharam. So, etat mamsa vasadi vikharam. It means what? Everything is only a modification of flesh. They will look good one day, they will not look good another day. So do not get attracted or do not be a slave to that. Understand the purpose of life, understand the purpose of everything, and you should follow what is required according to the dharma. So that is the meaning of that verse. So what he's trying to cover is, do not be chasing dhanam, number one. Okay. First. Then secondly, develop sadkuru buddhi for developing punyam and doing good things. Thereby, you are able to have a peaceful mind. Then he comes back and says here, oh, maybe I left that one. So if you have this idea about having pleasure like this or kama, understand that you be limited, you have everything in right proportion, and do not become a slave. Do not be just being a slave to that. Because this also is another desire. You can see today a lot of Babajis and Swamijis, reputation is not good because of all these things. Because this is a particular, even the great Vishwamitra also he fell for Menaka. The greatest Vishwamitra also, he fell, to the beauty of Menaka. So it is something which is said here that one must not be a slave to that. So pleasure is a state of mind and not from the object. So always the object doesn't give you pleasure. It's only the mind that gives you pleasure. Because if you drink liquor, right, the liquor will not give you any pleasure. Don't you think so? If you just hold a bottle of liquor with you, do you think it is going to give you pleasure? It is not. But the mind which is enjoying the liquor, or the mind is enjoying the pleasure, is the one which is enjoying the benefit. Is it correct? It's always the object itself is not doing anything to you. But the way you look at the object, the way you fantasize about the object, is what is going to give you pleasure. So he says, understand these limitations, understand these things, and control your mind. So effectively what he's trying to tell you is, develop mastery over your mind. Tamil called Pulan Adakkam. That means you must know when to do, when not to do. You must not be like, Tamil you call Avuthatta Kavida. You just go. Wherever you want, you just go. So you must not do like, you must be very restrictive, you must be very controlled. And follow dharma. That's what it means here. Then number 4 verse. Nalini dhalagata jalamitaram tadjivitam atishaya chalpam vidhivyadya bimana grastam lokam shokahatam cha samastam. So the first word is called Nalinihi. Nalini Dhala Gata Jalam. So Nalini Dhala Gata Jalam. See the lotus leaf, right? The lotus leaf always floats in the water. So Jalam means water. And in the lotus leaf, if you see, the lotus leaf lives in a very dirty pond. The lotus root actually is going down in the dirty pond, correct? The leaves actually are above the dirty pond. It will never touch the water, correct? Because in the lotus leaves, it will be above the dirty, the root will be going down there. And the dirt which is sitting under the pond doesn't affect the lotus leaf. The quality of the lotus leaf doesn't get affected, tainted because of the dirt in the sitting under the river bed. Even though it is living out of the water, the dirty water, the lotus leaf still doesn't get tainted. So what it means that you may be surrounded by so many things which are there. You may be living in an environment which is polluted, but you must not get affected by the like lotus leaf. Just like the lotus leaf, you must not be tainted. That means your vision, your mind, your activities should not get tainted or influenced by what is going around you. You must decide what is right for you. So if the raindrops fall on the lotus leaf does not have water. It actually just falls off the water, the leaf. Have you seen that? Any amount of water you put to the lotus leaf, it will not stick onto the leaf. It will just fall into the water there. So even if you get, influenced with so many things, you must be like the lotus leaf steady. Nothing should stick upon you. So the word Nalini Dalagata Jalam means just as the water which is flowing or just falling on the lotus leaf, Gataha means it goes into the water again. So the raindrops fall, raindrops doesn't stay on the lotus leaf, it just goes into the river again. And the lotus flower itself the leaf itself is sitting above the dirty pond, despite all its roots being dirty, going deep under. And the flower itself is very blooming. Can you call lotus flower dirty? We cannot. We all like lotus flower. Why? Because lotus blooms. And the blooming is always above the leaf. So tadvat. So the word, see here, tad. Tadvat jivitam. So tadvat means just like that. Jivitam atishaya chapalam. So jivita means what? This life. Just as the water falling on the lotus leaf does not stay for a very long time, so is Jivan, this life. Atishaya chapalam means this life is not permanent. It is as short as the stay of the water on the lotus leaf. See, if the lotus leaf was able to keep the water for a long time, then this equation would not come. She compares our life to that of the water on the lotus leaf. So lotus leaf comes, it wants water, it can't retain water, it just goes. Same way here also, the jivitam, the life which I've got. Atishaya chapalam means it is very, very limited. And it is indeed limited. Atishayaha means limited, indeed limited, just as the amount of limited water which is sitting on the lotus leaf. It stays maybe for a minute, not even a minute, a second, immediately it will be wiped clean. So next time look at the lotus leaf, there will be no water there. It will only be a leaf. No trace of water. Same way, no trace of life. So Nalini Dalagata Jalam means just as the lotus leaf is always floating in the water, and the water which is falling on the leaf doesn't stay for a very long time. Tadvat Jivitam Atishaya Chapalam. The same way, the life also is very, very short, just as the water on the lotus leaf. Vidhi, third line, Vidhi, may you know. So, please know, may you know. Then, Vyadya Bhimana Grastam, you should write as Vyadi Abhimana Grastam. Vyadi Abhimana Grastam. So, what is Abhimanaha? Ahankara. So we are caught by this disease called Ahankara. So Vyadi means what? Disease. And Grastaha means what? Grahu. Right? You are under the hold of this Ahankara. Right? So Vyadi Abhimana Grastam means this Ahankara which is there, or the ego, is the one which is binding you, and you are completely under the hold of this. Ahankara is it likes to be always there. The more you try to resolve it without knowing how to do it, it will get deeper, deeper, deeper. Because it does not want to leave you. It wants a place to stay. Correct. So it is looking for a place to stay, and if you encourage the Ahankara, it is very, very happy to stay for a very long time. It will say, I'm very happy here. You can do whatever you want. I know that you cannot remove me. And it will get deeper and deeper. So, Ahankaraha Vyadi is a Vyadi, it's a disease. So, you'll have to somehow resolve the Abhimana. See, you cannot drop the Ahankara. See, when you say, from tomorrow onwards, I will not have Ahankara. If you say this, that also is an Ahankara. See, the thought that you are dropping the Ahankara also is an Ahankara. So you really cannot get away from it. How do you do that? Is by understanding what Ahankara is, and then resolving that Ahankara in jnana, in consciousness. So the physical body is bound to have Vyadi and mental Vyadi as well. So you cannot escape both of them. Deha Vyadi and Mano Vyadi. So the Vyadi is classified as Deha Vyadi, which is body disease. This is of the body and disease of the mind. So if you have Abhimanam towards the body, also is disease. Ahankara, that I am beautiful, I am rich person, I am tall, I am rich. All these things are Ahama, or Ahankara, correct? So if you have Ahankara towards the physical body, also is a disease. If you have Ahankara to the mental, also is a disease. So both of them has to be eliminated. You cannot just say that I let go of my Deha Abhimana and I'm a free person. No, but mental Abhimana is there still. What will you do? You have to remove both of them. And removing means resolving them. Understanding what Deha Abhimana is, understanding what Mana Abhimana is, and resolving them for good. So once you resolve them for good, it will not come back again to you. Once you get over the fact, the physical body, you understand what it is. Limitation of physical body. You will see in Tattva Bodha. After studying a few texts, I'm pretty sure you'll understand all these things. You will yourself start to think, oh my God, I've been having such a long time having this vision. But I'm this person, I'm this person. The text says that you're not this, you're not this, you're not this. So when you leave this, that's the time when you will be happy. So Vyadi Abhimana Grastam, Lokam Shokam. So what it says, this entire Lokam is full of Shokaha. So this Lokam, or this universe which is we are living in, or the objective which is living in, is full of only sorrow only. Objects. Shokaha means what? They'll give you pleasure, they'll also give you dukkam. They will never give you permanent sukham. So lokam shokam. And because of that, you're not going to be happy all the time. You'll be happy for some time, and you'll be unhappy most of the time. Happiness is never lived last. We say no? Never lasts for a long time. Happiness is very short-lived. Why do we say happiness is short-lived? We can say dukkam is short-lived. We cannot. See, English proverb says happiness is short-lived. Why? You can say dukkam is short-lived. They won't say that. Because happiness is something which is always in short quantities. You'll get only a short burst. After that, dukkam will come. Like you buy a property, happiness will come. 5-bedroom house, you walk, you take videograph, you take photograph, put it in Instagram, everything there, people like you, there'll be 24 likes. Then what happens? When the bank starts to come at you, Oh my God. It's a huge bill, $4,000 a month. How will I pay mortgage? I don't have money to pay. You lost your job. What will you do? So you sell the house, discounted price, shokam. So the same house which brought you happiness now is giving you shokam. You are not able to enjoy it because you are happy. You don't want to give it away, but you have to give it away because you don't have. So it can just go in a shanam. Things can change overnight. You will have one day, you will not have another day. So this lokam shokam says here, lokam shokam hatam cha samastam. So hatam cha samastam. See the word lokam shokam hatam cha samastam. So hatam means subject to. Hatam means subject to. Samastaha means all the objects and pleasures which you have been pursuing is of the nature of shokam only. It is only a short duration of happiness and a long duration of unhappiness. So lokam shokam hatam cha samastam. So hatam subject to all the worldly objects and pleasures. So remaining ignorant and not knowing real happiness is not going to solve any problem for you. So dependencies, attachment, longing, desire, passion, all of them has to be slowly, you have to just leave them one by one. You cannot leave all of them tomorrow. Just by studying Vedanta today or in 6 months' time, you cannot say that, see, I have mastered everything. I have no desire anymore. I have no passion anymore. I have no attachment anymore. I have no family anymore. You cannot say this. The difficulty, is living with these things and yet not falling to those and becoming a slave to this. Hope you're getting what I'm saying? You have to be within this. You cannot drive. You cannot just say, see, this is all creating a lot of problem for me. See, when I come in the morning, evening, Sahasranama's lecture is going on, and I'm talking about not different lecture. Sahasranama means thousand names of lecture. We call not Laksharchanai, Lecharchanai. So Lecharchanai means what? Give lecture. Why you have not done this? Where were you so long? Can you not help me here? So it happens both ways, not only family wise. So what do? To escape this, you want to go somewhere else. Say, I want to go on holiday for 6 months. I'm going there, a project work. You take transfer, go there. But what will you do there? Mind is still there. You have not dissolved the mind. Same thing will come again there also. So you cannot just dismiss things as it is. You will have to work through them one by one, understand one by one, and then grow out of it one by one. A person who lives in the scenario here, yet he is not distracted, yet he is not touched by these things, he is a real person. So Bhajagovindam talks about such a person who is not a sannyasi. He doesn't talk about sannyasi here. Because Adi Shankara is talking about the Muda. If he's a jnani, he would not even say Bhajagovindam to him. So he already knows. He's saying Bhajagovindam to whom? To Muda people. So the people who are already in the world, who do not know what they are doing and they are just living the life just like this, for those people he is saying that you do these things. You cannot achieve these things just like that. So you live in this world, you try to do these good things and then try to be a better person. You got the meaning so far? So the last one, Nalini Dhalagata Jalam Tadvat Jeevitam Atishaya Chapalam. Vidhi, may you know, Vyadi Abhimana Grastam So vyadi abhimanam vastam lokam shokam hatam cha samastam. So definitely the whole objective world is full of shokam only. It is not always happiness. So understand this and do not fall for it. Is it clear? Have you got the meaning of the verse? Any questions? Sriramji, have you understood so far? Any questions so far?
All good. All clear. Thanks.
Okay. Sridharji, you're okay? Okay. Kushalji, you're able to follow so far? Good. Bhavani, Radha, any questions from your side?
Everything
Just one
good. Fine, sir.
request. Can you send the lyrics, because which I have, the third one was a bit different, and
Is it?
the Nalinata Balagata was the fourth one. It's just easy when I have the lyrics in front of me. So if
You don't have that lyric, you don't have the book, is it? The lyric, you don't have it?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, I thought you already knew the lyric. Okay, I'll send you the lyric. So basically, oh, I thought you guys did not send you the version before. I sent the text version right before the class.
Yes, G, you have sent it, G.
Bhavaniji, did you get it or you didn't get it? Is it?
Okay, I will have a look at it. Probably I didn't see it. Sorry.
No, it's okay. If you don't have it, maybe Radhaji or anyone can send to her.
Yeah, yes. Sure, G.
I think we sent one English and one
Sanskrit. Yes. Devanagari. Yes.
Okay, I will have a look at it and download it, because what I had one, but it seems to be a bit different. So I'll go back and.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsate Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaste and Shubhratri to all. Hare.